Welcome to my video talk. I am Chaitanya Dave. I am a social, political and environmental activist. And today's topic is who benefits from America's many wars? As you might know, America is constantly at war with some country over its whole history. And I'm going to tell you today a very shocking statistics. Please listen to me carefully. America has been at war out of its 245-year existence since 1776. This is 2021. Out of its 245-year existence, America has been at war for 225 years. It's only for 20 years that America has been at peace. In other words, America has been at war for 92% of its existence. Think about that. And another shocking statistics I'll give you. Since World War II, America has been responsible for the killings of 20 to 30 million people. 20 to 30 million people have died as a result of America's wars. And most of these wars, all of these wars were immoral and illegal. And for every one person killed, there are 10 people injured. So think about how many millions would have been injured, many of them permanently. And for every person that is injured, there are 5 to 10 family members. Every person who has been killed or injured, there are 5 to 10 family members. So how many millions would have suffered as a result? In other words, America has brought death and destruction from many of its wars around the world on people. A very sad behavior, very bad and sad behavior. Another shocking statistics you may not be aware of. America has 800 military bases in 70 countries of the world. Compared to that, Russia, China, France, Britain have very few, very few, maybe couple of 2-3 dozens. So why does America maintain these 800 bases around the world and spends about $100 billion a year on these bases? So that is the story of America. And America is carrying out sanctions on many countries of the world at any given time. Economic sanctions, military sanctions, etc. Now let me tell you some major America's wars. For 2.5 to 2 3/4 centuries, America, even before 1776, the people who came from Britain, the white men who came from Britain, and then after establishment of 1776, America, these people have been fighting, white men has been fighting with Native Americans for centuries. Why? Because they want to take their land and grab their land. This whole North American continent belonged to Native Americans, the Indians they call it. Then the whole continent has been stolen from these people. And millions of Native Americans have been killed in the process. As a matter of fact, 96% of Native Americans have been killed by our founding fathers and their followers. 96% of them have been killed. After that, In 1776, in 1775 to 1783, America started War of Independence against Britain. Rightly so. And they defeated Britain and established United States of America. A good thing they did. Okay? One good war out of many that I'm going to describe. That was a creditable thing that our founding fathers did. But then many wars followed after that. In 1846, President Polk created a war with Mexico because he wanted half of Texas and other lands of Mexico. So he started a war with Mexico, knowing that Mexico was very weak and poor and divided. And he defeated Mexico and grabbed half of Mexico, half of Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, everything was annexed by America from Mexico. And 1898, America wanted Cuba. And Cuba was owned by Spain. Spain was ruling Cuba, imperialist power. So America declared war in 1898 with Spain, defeated Spain, and then the Cuban rebels fighting. And so America fought with the Cuban rebels for some time in 1898 and defeated them and took over Cuba. Then they had a big war with Philippines in 1899. More than 200,000 civilians died and 20,000 soldiers died in Filipino people. And finally Philippines was defeated. America took over Philippines. Then America had a war with China called Boxer Rebellion in 1899. After that, America carried out various coups, overthrows in South America, Latin America, Central America. In 1812 onwards, they carried out in various South American countries, whether it is Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, etc. They interfered in Haiti. They attacked Dominican Republic, invaded Dominican Republic. So these were the old wars. Now the war continues. In 1950, America started Korean War. Russia and the leader of North Korea said that let's have election in North Korea. And Truman refused and started war. So Russia came in North Korea and America went into South Korea, and then it was a horrible war. Millions were killed, mainly South Koreans and North Koreans. Millions were killed. 38,000 American soldiers were killed. And so that was a horrible war. And it became a status quo. Nobody won. Then in 1962, 63 onwards, America started war with Vietnam. In 1954, there was a Geneva Convention, and it was declared that there should be election. There were several observers, and it was declared universally that there should have election in Vietnam, and Eisenhower refused. And as a horrible war ensued in Vietnam, millions were killed, including some 58,000 American soldiers. And so that war also was illegal and immoral, started by United States. America used the worst chemical weapon there, Agent Orange, herbicide, where besides other millions killed, 500,000 Vietnamese civilians were horribly injured by that deadly poison, and they have their children all nowadays without limbs So it was a horrible thing that the United States did there. Then recently there were Iraq wars, two wars in Iraq. Gulf War in 1990 and then second war in 2003 by George Bush Jr. Lot of people were killed, more than 1 million. Some put the figure at 3 million, but at least 1 million civilians were killed. Besides 4,000 some American soldiers. Very sad affair. Then in 1998-99 there was a Kosovo war. Then in 2001 there was Afghanistan war started, and you know it lasted for 20 years for nothing. Thousands were killed, some 47,000 people were killed, $2.25 trillion were wasted. In Iraq war, more than $5 trillion were squandered, totally wasted. And then during Obama administration 2015, they carried out an attack on Libya and killed their leader Muammar Gaddafi. So all these wars, they are, most of them, they are all based on lies. American people have been told lies. And what are the reasons, what are the lies? That they are fighting for freedom of the victim country, or they are establishing democracy there. There is a brutal dictator there, or communism there. They are saving people from being killed, or that country is developing weapons of mass destruction, and so we have to take care of that. We have to remove the regime there. Even though America has the maximum number of weapons of mass destruction, thousands of atomic weapons. Who has given God-given right to America to have the weapons, atomic bombs, and nobody else, any new country? And it is only America who has used 2 atom bombs on another country, Japan. So another reason they give, they are fighting terrorists. So they go to war. They are going like in Iraq, Syria, etc. So these are the reasons. Then also, now further talking about the real reasons, you have to ask the question, cui bono? For whose benefit? Follow the money. Who benefits from these wars? Now, first of all, they had a fear of communism, because like in Vietnam War, they believed, McNamara believed, the defense secretary believed that he and Nixon and Johnson and Nixon, they believed that if communism takes over, then there will be a domino effect, and then Thailand will fall. And McNamara finally agreed once he retired that was a big mistake. Then basic reason fighting communism is not for the freedom of the people in the communist country. It is that they lose the market. Once the country becomes communist, there is no way America can sell its goods. That's the reason. It's all for profit. It's not for the people of the country which is communist. Communism is a bad system, but it is none of our business. So, and then any country, America has destroyed 50 nationalist movements, 50 democratic movements around the world since Second World War. Now, any country tries to switch over from dollar to other currency, also that country will be a target of US sanctions and US invasions, etc. So, the question is, who benefits from these wars? Cui bono? And the reason for that, okay? Now let me first finish the reasons, then I'll tell you more on the benefits. Another reason besides communism is that we have the weapons. America manufactures weapons of mass destruction every year, more and more. Defense budget increases. Currently it's around $800 billion. more than all 7 countries of the world combined. We make fighter jets, atomic weapons, supersonic jets, tanks, missiles, bunker busting bombs, 500-pound bombs, all these things. For what? These are killing machines. There is no need for that on a civilized world. So the question is, we have the weapons, so use them. It's very easy. You have a powerful weapon, so you push a button and kill several people in another country to subdue the country. So we have the weapons. So Churchill said many years ago, Winston Churchill, that we don't make weapons for nothing. We make them to use them. Another reason, we don't have volunteer army anymore. See, during Vietnam War and before, there was a draft. Young people were drafted to go to war. They get a government letter that you have to go to war. So they have to quit their education, everything, and go to war. And many of them will be killed. Our politicians know that. So during Vietnam War, when young people got tired of being drafted, they created a massive movement, nationwide protest movement, and it is the young people of this country who stopped Vietnam War, who forced this country to get out of Vietnam. A very creditable achievement. So now there is volunteer army. So poor people, usually it's the poor and the middle class who send their sons and daughters in armies and air force, because that is where they make a decent living and they become somebody. Rich people will never send their sons and daughters in the army and air force. Politicians never have their sons and daughters in army and air force usually, right? Because they know that they can get killed there. So with volunteer army, for our politicians, our presidents, very easy to send them. Say 10,000 sent to Iraq, 15,000 sent to Afghanistan. Very easy. They don't care. They give them lip service. But basically, it is not their sons and daughters who are going there to die. It is the American people, the poor and the middle class, who send their sons and daughters. Now, war may be hell for many people, but it is heaven for some. In other words, there are some people who really benefit from these America's wars. And let me talk about that. Billions of dollars of profit, we have to follow the money. Billions of dollars of profit flows into defense industries from these wars. Defense industries, what are they? These defense contractors, they call them defense contractors. And the defense industry actually is an offense industry. These contractors are Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop, Raytheon, and General Dynamics. These are the 5 biggest ones. They make billions of dollars from these wars. They are in touch with the Pentagon. Pentagon is also a party to this. And they have their lobbies who are constantly in touch with our presidents and senators and congressmen. They give them millions of dollars for the elections and re-elections. So our presidents, senators and congressmen, they always help these contractors. Always. That is a payback. And these contractors wield tremendous influence on our government and Pentagon. The whole justification for Pentagon is wars. When wars take place, Pentagon's budget increases more and more. And generals like it, our generals. You will never find a general on television who will say, well, we better not go for this war. This war is wrong. You will never see that. You will see on television, whether CBS, NBC, CNN, during the war, general after general will come as an expert and promote the war. You will never find a person who says, wait a minute now, this war is wrong. You don't see that. And then there are thousands of subcontractors who make millions of dollars supplying these major contractors. if you put in $10,000 in these 5 companies, Lockheed Martin and General Dynamics and Raytheon and all these companies, $10,000 in their stocks 20 years ago, you would have made $100,000. That's how they benefit, and mainly from wars. Now, they are expanding NATO in Eastern Europe, former Russian allies. They are encircling Russia. So expanding NATO. NATO was created in 1940s to counter the threat of Soviet Union, USSR. And so it carried on for so many years. But now there is no USSR. It has collapsed in 1989. Russia is a smaller country, around 100 million people. It's a powerful nation. It's another superpower. It is no threat to anybody there. So they include these other, they expanded into Poland, Ukraine, all these countries into NATO. Why? They said that to maintain peace and counter Soviet threat is not true. They expanded so that America can send billions of dollars worth of arms to these new members. It's a business. Now, there is also media complicity. US media, this major media network, they are always promoting war. When George Bush was about to go to war with Afghanistan and Iraq, of course, we were badly attacked by 9/11, which was a very bad thing. 3,000 Americans died. But every media network was supporting that war. Yes. You will find 10 experts, military experts, promoting the war, and you will hardly find one who say, no, we should not go to war. When George Bush asked for permission to go to war, they founded a resolution that president can go to war in the case of emergency like that. Every senator and congressman approved it. Every one of them say yes, except one lady, Barbara Lee from Northern California, who opposed it. Very creditable thing for her. So, media is complicit in these wars. All the time. Now, there is also a revolving door. All these military experts, Pentagon generals and all these, they promote the war. And the defense industry benefits. So when these generals retire, they are awarded with very high paying jobs in the defense industry as consultants. There is a revolving door. Also, many times our president is considering next election. If he's a war president, he gets elected easily. People vote for a war president. When Kennedy wanted to withdraw from Vietnam in 1962, somewhere around that, his advisors advised him that better not withdraw now, otherwise you will look weak on communism. Because the election is coming in 1964, and Kennedy agreed. So wait until after the election, then you can withdraw from Vietnam. Imagine if we had withdrawn from Vietnam. Millions of people would have benefited from that. Millions would have not died. Also, George Bush, he started this Iraq war and Afghanistan war. After the second election, he got elected very well. He was a war president, he liked it. So underlying reasons are there for next election. Presidents go to wars, they get re-elected in the next election. And then there is a massive propaganda and lies by the president. Many times to prepare American people, presidents lie. Harry Truman lied in 1945 onwards A big lie, he and his administration. He threw not one but two atom bombs in 1945, August 1945 on Japan, on civilian targets. Everybody advised him not to use that deadly weapon. Eisenhower advised him, Churchill advised him, all our scientists who developed the atom bomb, Oppenheimer, Einstein, they all advised him not to use that. Our priests all advised him not to use it. He used the atom bomb, not one but two, and lied to American public later on that we saved 1 million American lives by using the atom bomb. Japan surrendered. Basically, Japan was ready to surrender. Japan's request was that they please save our emperor. Don't hurt our emperor. Because emperor was like God to them. But Truman wanted to show to Russia that we have this deadly weapon. He used two atom bombs and lied all the way to American people. Truman lied. Then Eisenhower lied about U-2 spy plane over Russia. He knew that, he had approved that, and then the lie came out when Russia shot down that plane. Then Lyndon Johnson lied to American people. He said that North Vietnam has attacked our boats in Gulf of Tonkin in 1964, and under that excuse he heavily bombed North Vietnam. And Nixon carried out many lies, and recently George Bush Jr., he lied to the nation along with all his cronies that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction under a mushroom cloud. Remember that? So he lied to the nation. So all nation, 72 people approved of Bush's Iraq war. Because what can American do? They are being lied to. So he attacked Iraq for nothing. A most disastrous misadventure. And now they are developing Cold War with Russia and China. And it is very foolish thing. So they will develop more and more weapons. America, Russia, China. Why not to be friends with Russia and China? Why not to be friends with everybody? Use that money, that billions of dollars, for helping American people. Currently they are supplying Saudi Arabia billions of dollars worth of arms, knowing that Saudi Arabia is killing thousands of people in Yemen. Thousands and thousands are being killed by Saudi Arabia, brutal regime. Another reason, America has no serious enemies. In other words, America is so big, so powerful, is so isolated, huge continent. Nobody would dare to attack America, so America can get away with attacking anybody. They don't like somebody is not obeying them, say okay, bomb them or invade them. And America always uses weak countries which are poor or which are militarily weak and small. America will not dare to attack Russia or China or India because they can all fight back. It always attacks small countries. So it is the establishment, stupid, as they say. The whole establishment is set up that way. And another yet last reason I would say is that the Congress has abdicated its duty. In our constitution, Congress has the last say if the country can go to war. But during Bush administration, the resolution was passed that the president can go to war. And it doesn't need Congress's approval. And so, US Congress has abdicated its duty. So president can do whatever he likes. So these are the reasons that America goes to war all over, and few people benefit. And so, why do I say all these things? I live in America. I love America. America is a beautiful country. American people are very nice. But America's policy, foreign policy is very, very wrong, very bad. Bad for not only the world, but for America itself. Billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, more than 5 trillion used in Iraq war, Afghanistan war, 2.5 to 2.25 trillion. All these trillions of dollars can be used for American people. They need the money. There are more than 94 million Americans are near poverty. 17 million people are in deep poverty. And 40 million Americans are poor. 1 in 6 American children they don't have enough food to eat. More than 40 million Americans don't have health insurance. All that money can be used so that there could be universal insurance, health insurance for every American. There should be no poor person in America. And if all this money can be used, America becomes a peaceful nation. It will be great for the world, and it will be heaven in America. And that is the reason that why am I saying all these things? So that all of you who are listening to this will realize and start working to force our politicians, our establishment to change their policy from a warring nation to a peaceful nation who can live in peace and tranquility and in brotherhood with the rest of the nations of the world, and work for everybody's upliftment. And if you like this video and if you agree with me, then please share this video with as many friends as you can, and please push the red button on the video and be a subscriber for my future videos. Thank you very much.